Hey, happy, beautiful, amazing day. Dr. Bob Rakowski here out of Houston, Texas, April 13th, 2020. So, fact update, science update, and an interesting question. Has the coronavirus been around since the dinosaurs? Well, one Harvard PhD says, oh, absolutely yes, and probably a lot longer than that. So, let's have our daily update here. We look and there are about 1.9 million people around the world infected, about 115,000 deaths to date. We'll share later that we don't really know that number because for whatever reason, certain government agencies and hospitals are really promoting padding the numbers, making look like more people are dying. That is testimony from a US senator. The seasonal flu has killed 137,000, yet we don't hear anything about that. HIV, nearly half a million people already dead in April. Come on, or by April, I should say. There's a lot going on here that probably needs a lot more attention than this coronavirus. Here is the Minnesota medical doctor and state senator Scott Jensen. You can watch his data on the internet. Basically, he said it's ridiculous and misleading to the public. If anybody dies with coronavirus, hospitals are incentivized to say they died from the coronavirus. Here are the current stats. You've seen this curve many, many times. There's our World Health Organization lead researcher on this. Every pandemic rises and falls. Where are we at in the total world? Looks like we peaked and we're on our way down. How about the United States? Hey, if we haven't peaked and we're on the way down, we're pretty doggone close. How about Italy? Italy has peaked and on the way down. How about Spain? Looks like Spain has peaked and on the way down. What about Sweden? Very interesting country because they don't have anywhere near the restrictions that the rest of the world has, yet they follow the same pattern. So Scientific America says ancient fossil virus shows infection to be millions of years old. It's strongly suggested that viruses preceded the dinosaurs. In fact, one theory says that viruses, which can't replicate on their own, that genetic material actually preceded cells. This is Professor David St. Clair. We could call him doctor, but PhD Dr. David St. Clair. Super sharp guy. Tom Ballou YouTube channel. I want you to look that up. It was a really nice 45-minute interview. But he simply says coronaviruses have likely been around since the dinosaurs. So let's get a timeline. So dinosaurs, who knows, 250 million years ago, and we're on the Earth for a long time. This is a 52 million year old bat fossil. And so proceeds biologic science. Now we've got a PubMed study. And here's what it says. Bats are well-recognized reservoirs of viruses. Ebola came from bats. Marburg came from bats. Hendra, which repeats frequently in Australia, comes from bats. Nipah comes from bats. Coronaviruses comes from bats. And by the way, there's a lot of bats. They make up 1/5 of every mammal on planet Earth. So we'll talk about that. But isn't this interesting? I like that movie, Along Came Polly. There, Polly is holding a ferret. But scientists have found HIV-related virus in a ferret fossil 8 million years ago. So HIV is not brand new. Homo sapiens, how long we've been around? Some data now up to 300,000 years. So my friends who love the Bible and say, wait a minute, no, man's only 6,000 years old. Hey, God can make a year any length of time he wants. So let's not be too foolish about that, right? If you can make anything, you can make a year as long as you want. So this is data from, again, David St. Clair. The virus mutates often, and according to him, we already have 20 new strains since January. 20 new strains. So this was one that showed 2 of the strains. So this virus is mutating frequently. And by the way, what about the probability of this coming back often like the flu? David St. Clair, you go right to the YouTube channel. Go back and if you want to look at the timing, I recorded the timing about 9 minutes and 30 seconds in. He says these infections will likely be cyclical. And he says with coronavirus, about every 5 to 10 years. So go back, SARS was a coronavirus, MERS a coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2 a coronavirus, 10 to 15% of all common colds are coronavirus. And he basically said it is inevitable that it will come back. So just like the flu vaccine needs to be updated every year and is basically a crapshoot, right? Some years it's better than others. Personally, I don't like taking the chance of injecting that stuff. Why not keep the body healthy? And by the way, he said the common cold is either a rhinovirus. Looks like I pulled my mic out. The common cold is either a rhinovirus or a different type of coronavirus. So bats, this is from the US Department of the Interior, and this specifically from the World Atlas, 1/5 of the total population of mammals on the earth. This is from the Department of the Interior. There's about 80 medicines that come from plants that rely on bats. And they can also study bats and get a navigational aid for the blind. So are they good for our ecosystem? Hey, there's a lot more of them than us. They must have a place on planet Earth. So where's this going? You're not going to get healthy by injecting different foreign proteins in your system every year. That is absolutely ridiculous. The only way to have health is to earn health. And I like this quote from success.com. Sometimes we're tested not to show our weaknesses, but to discover our strengths. So good news to finish the day. These viruses are not going away. Bats are not going away. The virus is mutating very, very rapidly, and it will come back. So what's our solution? The solution is what it's always been. We have survived more than 300,000 years because we're a resilient species and because there's things that we can do to be healthy. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful.